Hello and welcome to Boomer and Beyond Wellness. I'm Angela Fischetti. So today's class is yoga-based stretches for the outer thighs. They're also known as the hip abductors, ABD. So abduction is going away from the midline of the body, whereas adduction is going toward the midline of the body. I chose to do this particular class in a chair because for reasons that might have to do with one's health or one's employment, there are many people out there who have to be in a chair every day of their lives, and for some 24/7. So they could probably share with you that typically their hip area, the hip region, even including muscles leading up and down into the glutes, let's say the hamstring muscles, the back muscles, these get really tight. And especially with the back, if the low back, if you're sitting slouched, that's a real problem. So I wanted to be inclusive of those who are in a chair, and maybe they can get something out of this class because it is in a chair that they can really apply. Now, the muscles that are involved here with hip abduction. Well, Angela, it's outer thighs. It's the outer thigh muscles. Well, not really. So, large movers here would be the gluteal muscles. So you have the maximus, the medius, and the minimus. Also involved is a muscle called the tensor fasciae latae, and man, that one gives us a lot of issues sometimes with being super tight. And then we have the sartorius muscle, and then there is that pesky piriformis. So it's part of the lateral rotator muscles that are deep to the gluteals. And the piriformis is activated when you go into not only hip abduction, but you're taking hip flexion into hip abduction. That's going to be that piriformis muscle. A couple of interesting points about that piriformis muscle. Well, when it's super tight, and this is actually one of the precautionary measures, people get piriformis syndrome. And typically they'll feel the pain from the glute down to the knee. Whereas sciatica, that issue is often felt not just down to the knee, but all the way down to the toes. There might be exceptions to the rule. So there's a bunch of lateral rotators, but that piriformis is the largest of those lateral rotators. Now, I just want to make sure I covered all the muscles for you. Now, the joint that is involved, I'll turn here to the side for you. So we have the acetobulofemoral joint, also known as the coxal joint of the hip. The accessories we'll be using today will be a sticky yoga mat, a couple of yoga blocks, a yoga strap, a yoga bolster, particularly if you need help with sitting up. I don't sit back into my chair, I sit upright, but for some that could be really problematic. So you want something that's really stable behind you to help you stay erect. I'm also sitting on a cushion and taking a peek here at my yoga chair. So I call this the window of the yoga chair. I really like that a lot because I can do my twists and stuff. You'll see, we'll apply it here in class. Must you have a bolster? No. You can do a DIY by folding up several big, let's say, beach towels, secure it with rubber bands, and you've got a bolster. Must you have a yoga chair? No. Any standard folding chair. However, your chair, whenever you do any type of chair work with me, please, no wheels on the chair. I don't need flyby people, okay? And also we want it to be an armless chair because they can get in the way. Now, we'll go further into the medical disclaimers here. So, the sticky yoga mat is often made out of, at least part of it is made out of latex. So you want to look for non-latex or latex-free if indeed you have an allergy. Now let's go deeper into these issues. Now I should say first off that all of the issues I mentioned, no matter what, they are all chronic concerns. So if I don't mention your issue and you have a chronic concern, pay attention to what I'm going to say here, okay, please? Because I can't possibly mention every single condition that exists. I mention the conditions I see and have seen over the course of 3.5 decades of teaching in fitness, these particular issues have a little bit more of a reaction to exercise, particularly if it's done without thinking or without alignment, all right? So let's see, we have, if you've had a hip replacement, this is super important, especially if it's from osteoporosis, where your hip is compromised. So what you want to be careful with is hip abduction. Hello, that's like what we're doing here today, right? You don't want to go to your widest. I wouldn't do that, okay? The other thing is you might be in something like a cobbler's pose. I wouldn't flop the knees all the way open. I would actually use my hands for support, just to make sure that you don't go to your maximum. Now, maybe you've been told you can do these movements. Great. But if you haven't, this is to help you prevent any possible issues. If you have osteoporosis, any back spine issue whatsoever, postural deviation, including especially hyperkyphosis, the one where you kind of hunched in appearance, these three are often told not to forward flex the spine, to bend down, pick up something, come back up. You might have been told not to do that. And especially, I want to point out not to do it like this, just that rounding down stuff, really not good for you folks. Pardon me. If you're medicated or not for hypertension, you have vertigo or GERD, please avoid this. Dropping the head down while training. Hold your head up high. Also important for you folks. This position of the hand, carpal tunnel syndrome. So this is wrist extension. Doesn't matter where the arm and forearm are. I don't care where I go with it. It's still wrist extension. So what you want to do is always make sure that wrist is straight. And of course, if you have sciatica or piriformis syndrome, and if you have ever had a TIA, a transient ischemic attack or a stroke, and if you have rotator cuff muscle issue or pinched nerve. So it's a lot of issues I mentioned, folks. And why I'm mentioning them is because of chronic concerns. So for anyone who is watching this station, this is all about being your chronic concern corner. So I invite you all, no matter what that situation might be, to preview the video first before participating. Look for what you can do, because I believe you will find it. However, if you're not sure, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well and help you make an informed decision, because it's all about being informed and not being frightened, folks. There's so much power in the information. All right, so let's talk about it. Just a couple of reminders. Please always feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to during any movement and exercise program. But I will tell you that this is not something that is going to be extra special efforting, not at all. You want to listen to the sound of your breath and make sure you stay in breath, with the breath in and out through the nose, and this will help you determine how much effort you're putting into the work. And also a reminder to stay hydrated. Now, I do know that my beloved colleagues in the yoga community do not like when anybody eats or drinks before a session. Certainly I understand with the eating, drinking, unfortunately that's the way it goes sometimes, because people are on certain medications and they must take them at certain times, and you know where I'm going with this, okay? And also now let's talk about how to sit in a chair. So when we sit in the chair, what I like to do first is place the hands underneath my buttock flesh. Yes, I am doing this. And I'm pulling the flesh not only straight back, but then out wide toward the shoulders. So when I just pulled the flesh out wide, I am now, it feels great on my back. I'm sitting up and forward on the front edge of the ischial tuberosity. In yoga, we call these the sits bones. This is how you avoid this stuff, folks. But again, use your bolster, use your DIY with the towels behind you to make sure you can sit upright. Now, what else did I want to tell you about that? Yes, okay, I'm going to turn in the chair because sometimes when people sit, especially like in a folding chair, I notice this a lot. People do this. Like, you know, if you have knee issues, you're putting a lot of compression on your knees. It's kind of like a hyperflexion that's unnecessary. So you can just bring your feet a little bit forward of the knees. You might have a little bit more comfort in the knees. The other thing that we want to do is make sure that when we're sitting, and I'm looking down here just to double check, I want to make sure my ankles to the knees, to the inside of the high pelvic bone, the iliac crest, right? I'm pointing straight down, not in toward each other. And you want to make sure this is all in alignment with each other. So now let's begin here, and I would like to begin with movements of the spine, just for mobility of the spine. We're going to begin with a seated cat-cow. This is technically spine extension and spine flexion. Turning to the side for you. So we place the hands on the thighs, and on the inhale, we glide the hands up toward the groin. We present the heart, roll the shoulders back, even lift the chin. Now, this position, careful with TIA stroke, all right? We don't want to hyperextend here. We want to keep the chin neutral. You'll still get plenty of back extension. Just leave the cervical spine out of it, but I will go into it. This is the baby back bend of the seated cow. And then exhale. Now, those of you with back spine, osteoporosis, postural deviation, hyperkyphosis, you come to neutral, while the rest of us are going into spine flexion, hooking the hands over the knees and pulling that belly button in. And inhale, we glide the hands toward the heart. We lift that chest, lift the chin. This is excellent for the anterior muscles of the neck. And guess what? When I come into spine flexion, into that cat, I get a nice rush of blood to the thyroid gland. And one more of each. Inhale. And exhale. Now let's work the abdominal muscle here, folks. Go after that transverse abdominis. Pull that belly button in toward the small of your back. Visualize it coming out that low back. And then we come back up to neutral. I'm going to turn forward in the chair, sitting back a little bit. I'm going to bring my feet a little bit wider apart. Right hand grabbing the back leg of the chair, the back right leg of the chair. I start to slide down in lateral flexion, side bending, but I turn the sternum toward the ceiling. Do not collapse the right side organs. You help not collapse by keeping that sternum lifted. And then you bring the left hand to the waist. For those of you with the rotator cuff or pinched nerve issues, you can feel free to keep your hand to your waist. The rest of us, as we slide down, we bring that arm, we're arcing it up and over. So lots of energy coming out through the left middle finger. I'm also pushing down in that left heel. Keep that left hip down. Hold here, breathing in and out through the nose. Excellent for the internal and external oblique muscles, part of your abs at the waist. And inhale, turn the palm up, grab an imaginary hook. Exhale, push into that left heel, vigorously reach out to the left. Watch your circumstance, you don't bang into anything. And then inhale, I slide down outer left leg or back left leg chair. And exhale, right hand to waist first. Don't let the head sag. And then we bring the arm out, up and over, reaching, getting a beautiful stretch between the ribs, the intercostals. Folks, it's South Beach. It is our last recording in South Beach. Yes, you're probably hearing sounds in the background. That's going to change very soon. And then inhale, palm up, grab a hook. Exhale, push down into that right heel, come out. And lower the arm down, shoulder roll. So my big moving day is this coming Tuesday. That's why you haven't seen me in a while. I've been preparing like crazy, going back and forth and preparing the other apartment as well. And one more shoulder roll. And breathe. Okay, so now I'm going to keep the feet I'm actually going to go a little wider. I'm bringing the feet as wide as the legs of the chair. Now, for those of you with osteoporosis, you might have been told not to twist. I have to tell you that when you sit at your dining room table and you pass maybe the condiments from one person to another, you know, you're having a meal with your family, just this simple act is a twist. So I don't know what your degree of your range of motion you've been instructed to do. If you've been told not at all, then it's not at all. But if you've been told keep it small, then you place both hands to the outside of your right thigh. You roll the right shoulder back, and then you take your tiny twist. The rest of us, left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Inhale the right arm up. Now you can go all the way back, but I'm going to cut through the window of my chair, clasping on to the underside of the seat. Belly button is in. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhale, now present the heart and turn and twist. Do not overly crank it from the use of the arms, folks. It's not about that. It's about pulling your belly button in. Make sure you're breathing in and out through the nose. Sit into the right hip. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, torso, arm forward. Just keep going. Inhale, right hand to the outside. Exhale, arm up. I'm going to dive through the window. Now inhale, lengthen spine. Push down into both feet. I want to make sure they're kind of even. And then exhale, turn and twist. Belly button is pulled in. Excellent, excellent posture for both the large and small intestines. Very cleansing. But also twisting postures are wonderful from almost like a yoga philosophical perspective. You've got a lot of mind chatter going on. Do some twisting poses to bring you back to the center. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, torso, arm back to center. Just hold for a few moments and breathe. Now, I'm going to turn to the side here. And placing my hands. Now this is where I need carpal tunnel to pay attention, because I'm going to do a modified cobra, bhujangasana, in the chair. Thrusting the heart, roll shoulders back, and you can notice my hands are definitely in wrist extension. If you put your fingers underneath the chair and curl those fingers to hold on, your wrist is now straight. I also need to caution those who have had a TIA or stroke, be careful. You don't want to drop that head back. You folks keep it neutral, but the rest of us who want to drop the head back, feel free to do it. And then breathe. And a little bit more. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hold, keeping your feet the width of the chair legs. And from here, now, for those of you with osteoporosis, again, twisting, rotating, right? You were told small movements maybe. So you're going to do this for something called a Sufi grind, which is basically a blend of spine flexion, extension, and lateral flexion. So we tie it all in. So now I'm going to go bigger with mine. You take it at your pace. I would not suggest, I see people doing this very fast. I would take it easy. And then I'm going to reverse direction. And then stopping at the center. Now I'm going to draw the torso forward and up. You can round up if it's appropriate for you. Just a little heel toe, exaggerating, getting some movement within the ankles. So now I'm going to come into a seated number 4 stretch. So I push down on the left to lift the right, because in yoga there's always oppositional movement. The foot is fully dorsiflexed here. The sole of the foot is facing the wall. And now, those of you with osteoporosis or hip replacement, do not push down at all, no pressure. You may have been told not even to do this movement, so please don't. So I'm going to take my hands and just gently press down, keeping the chest up, and breathe. And I'm just pressing a little. And you don't have to press, by the way. You could just stay where you are. And I'm going to gently lower it. I just have to excuse myself for a moment because I have a runny nose. Bear with me a second. It's very, very humid here this evening in South Beach, so it is a little bit like congested. All right, so I'm going to come back into here. Thank you for that moment. Just gently pressing with the hands. You can stay upright or you can go deeper into it. It's totally up to you and what you want to feel at this point. And then inhale, exhale, lower down, push down on the right to lift the left, take it across. Just double check right ankle, knee, hip joint. Oof. I feel it on this side. Wow. Never ceases to amaze me. Holding steady. Just apply a little bit of pressure. And then gently lower it down. From here, I'm going to sit forward on the chair. I'm going to grab my yoga strap. Now, for those of you with the back spine issue, I'm going to ask that you please keep yourselves upright. And a nice way to do it is use your strap, bring it around the ball of the foot. And you're going to push out through the heel. And you're going to pull with the strong biceps. A lot of times I see this stuff. No. Let the elbows bend a little, soften. And now you can get some beautiful length here from the spine as well as from the posterior side of that extended leg. Make sure left foot is supporting you by pushing down. And you can sit tall. And then if you want, those of you not with those spine flexion issues, you can certainly feel free to go deeper. It's a version of a seated head to knee pose, Janu Shirshasana. And pulling that right hip back, left hip forward. I'm almost thinking bringing my left shoulder toward that right big toe. Notice I don't drop the head down. And are you breathing? I hope all is well. And then we're going to slowly come back up. Again, the chin is lifted, the chest is lifted, not rounded. And then I set the foot down. I'm just going to move this out of the way, but you keep your strap if you need it, please. And that's why we have it. And bringing that left leg out, pulling that left hip back, right hip forward, maybe right shoulder going in the direction of the left big toe with that head up. Now be careful how far forward you sit on your chair because the chair can flip, tip, I should say. You certainly don't want that, right? Belly button drawn in. And if you need that yoga strap, you use it. And I'm going to try fingertips cupped to the floor. Now, you want to have that chin lifted because we want the cervical spine of the neck and the lumbar spine of the low back to basically kind of mirror each other because they both are in a natural lordotic curve, which is like a little back extension. So here's where I like to think I am taking a back extension in that spine flexion. So it's a back bend in the forward bend. Wow, that was deep. And inhale, slowly come all the way up. Wow. Exhale, hold a moment. Turning to the side. I want a little bit more spine extension from you because we have so much forward flexion in real life. And watch the carpal tunnel, TIA stroke. And we're going to lift, hold, breathe. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, I'm going to turn it forward. I'm going to bring my feet wider now. and come into a bigger soupy grind, but not for those with osteoporosis, right? Nice and big. Oh, it just feels so great on the low back, at least for me. And then I'm going to reverse direction. So we're in hip abduction, right? And I'm going to hold center. You can roll up or lengthen forward to come up and exaggerate toe, heel, toe, heel. I'm grabbing my, let's see, do I want my yoga block? I think so. Yes, I do, one. So one yoga block. I'm going to sit a little forward on the chair. Take the block. Now you have level 1, level 2, level 3. And I'm taking the block, basically keeping it level 3, but in between the knees, skinny side, all right? So I'm pushing into the block with the inner knees, inner thighs, right away engaging the opposing muscles, those hip adductors, those inner thighs. And we're going to take our twist again. You know your modifications. Inhale, exhale, take the twist. Now do not let that block drop. Keep squeezing the block. Puffing up the chest, sit into that right glute. When you sit deeper into it, you will get more of a stretch in the lateral rotator, the piriformis, but also the gluteal. And inhale, head. Exhale, torso, arm. Continue. Inhale, exhale. Squeezing that block. Puffing up the chest, sitting into that left glute. Don't let it rise up. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, torso, arm forward. Again, the number 4 stretch, that seated Kapotasana, modified approach to pigeon. Now, I'm going to bend the elbow and press into the inner thigh flesh. Folks, do not push into your inner knee. The patella, the kneecap, isn't officially attached to anything. It kind of swims around in there, you know, in the joint socket. So I'm pushing down on the flesh. No collapsing, no rounding down, no dropping the head. Heart is lifted, be proud, shoulder down. And breathe, wow. Feeling it deep to the gluteal. And then inhale, I come up, support the joint. Exhale, lower down. Other side, push down to right, to lift left. Elbow, sit tall, use that right foot. Lengthen forward. Oh my, whose body is this on? It's my real right side, but I'll say my left side. Oh man. And breathe. Whew. Talk about the lateral rotators, right? Yike. All right. And then slowly come back up, support, inhale, exhale. Now I'm going to take a block. I'm not going to use my strap this round, but you can certainly. Once again, for the seated head to knee. And I'm bringing the heel on the block. Pull that right butt flesh back. Left hip forward. Again, left shoulder toward the right big toe. Sit tall. Use this foot to help you do that, to lengthen the spine. And then hinge from the hip. And if you want hands to the block, hands to the floor. It depends upon your particular range of motion, but don't get caught up in the floor if it means you're rounding your back to get there. If it means you're dropping your head down. It's just not worth it. Breath in and out. And then inhale, I slowly come back up, push into that left foot. Exhale, set it down. Let's move the block over to the opposite. Left heel, pull the butt flesh, right foot right shoulder toward the left big toe. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lift up to go forward. I don't think about going down, I think about up and going forward. Wow, yeah. It's all there for sure. And breathe. Oh yes, I'm gonna see about going to the floor now. Yes. So you just take your time, have patience, folks, particularly with deep stretching, have patience. Belly button in, I slowly come forward to go back up. And then lower the foot down, just take a moment here. So I want to do another back extension with you. Again, just modified cobra, but this time I'm going to interlock the fingers behind me and forming a steeple. So you form a steeple by interlocking all 10 fingers except the index fingers and the thumbs. So I want to open up the heart chakra here, the anahata chakra, the Fischetti chakra at the throat. Opening up compassion and communication. We have scapular retraction going on. So deep stretching to the pectoralis major, anterior deltoid, bicep muscles. Careful here with TIA stroke, right? Breathe. And then inhale, head to neutral. Exhale, release the arms, turning forward. Just gonna take a couple of shoulder rolls for the moment. Wow, there's like a lot of blood that rushes in there, it feels great. Now I'm gonna take the one block, bring it closer to my chair, and taking the sides, the lateral sides of my feet onto the block, it's a little too close, onto the block, sitting all the way back, and just let it go. Who shouldn't do this? Osteoporosis, hip replacement. Here we go. Just hold them in a little bit. Don't let them flop all the way open. Breathe. Now I'm going to see if I can't get back a little bit more. Now bring my block in, better. Open up the chest and just let the arms dangle back. Maybe lift the chin slightly. Lovely stretch to the biceps. You know, there's so much pushing and pulling and lifting and climbing and dodging and darting and all this wonderful work in packing. I'm a team of one, I'm proud to say, and just having a great time exploring with my body and maybe overpacking a box to see how I can lift it, and because there's no time to lift weights, but oh man, I have been working out. So that's why I chose to do a yoga video with you all today. And now inhale, hands to the knees. Exhale, draw the knees together. Now I'm gonna go nice and wide for that Sufi grind. Really nice and wide. And I'm gonna reverse. And remember, osteoporosis, small and upright, please. And here we go. Toe, heel, again. Great. So now I'm going to take both blocks out. We've got another variation on that number 4, seated pigeon. Bring the blocks in front of my feet. So I push down on the left, lift the right. I'm going to go with my elbow into the inner thigh. Careful, if you feel a pulse, get off of it. That's your femoral nerve. I'm part of your femoral artery. So we don't want to push into arteries. And if you want to, you can go deeper using your blocks. And wow, and breathe. Boy, that talked to me. Breath in and out through the nose. But I'm up and forward. Try to bring my chest, my sternum, that breastbone up and beyond my shin. slowly up, support. Exhale, take it. Other side, push down in the right, lift the left, dorsiflexion, ankle, knee, hip, elbow gently pressing down. I feel this so much today on my, because I had very deep yoga earlier on the hip abductors, the inner thighs. So I feel this within that gracilis muscle. And now I'm going to see, can I don't know if I can on this side. Is it worth it? I try. Let's see. It's an experiment, right? I can come out of it if I need to. Yeah, it's there. Boy, am I in there. Those lateral rotators. Wow. They are chatting. And then I'm going to slowly come back up. Now I'm going to stay here on this side. I'm just going to cross my knees. I'm going to move these blocks out of the way for the moment. So I've crossed the knees. The left is on top. And now I'm going to hook the left ankle around the right. So kind of bringing in the Garuda pose, Garudasana, the pose of the eagle. So I have left thigh on top. I'm going to open the arms out and crisscross right over left. And then crisscross wrists. And inhale, lift the arms up, look up at the ceiling. Exhale, those of you with the back spine issues, no forward flexion, you just lower your elbows towards your chest, while the rest of us can forward flex elbows to knees. And then inhale, pull the belly button in as you exhale down. One more inhale, watch it here with TIA stroke, the looking up, and exhale, lower down. And then inhale, back to center, lift the arms higher, wow. Exhale, kind of untangle yourself. And let's take it to the other side. So now we have right on top of left. So you see what we're doing here. We're getting those lateral rotators while working some ab and stretching through the shoulder girdle. So I'm going to bring the left arm across, right underneath, hook, and crisscross. So inhale, bottom elbow lifts the top elbow. Exhale, elbows to knees. Or follow the contraindication, the movement that was suggested. And exhale, lots of work too in the rotator cuff, by the way, and between the shoulder blades, between the scapulae. And one more, exhale, hold. Inhale, arms go up, 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 look up. And exhale, release. Lots of big stretches going on, which is lovely. Shoulder roll. I'm going to grab 2 blocks now. Put them out in front of the right foot, heel on the 2 blocks. Again, seated head to knee. And we're bringing the left shoulder toward that right big toe. Inhale, exhale. So each time when you come up a little higher, you can maybe go a little deeper. Just keep pulling right hip back, left hip forward. Try not to round that upper back in particular. Now the thoracic part of your spine, it has a natural kyphotic curve. So it's not like you can make it flat. That's impossible. Unless you have an issue with your spine, right? And then we're going to slowly come back up. And exhale. Let's move the blocks over. So in about 2 weeks' time, I'm going to resume a couple of videos a week for you again. Thank you for your patience throughout all of this. Pulling that left hip back, right hip forward, right shoulder, right ribs toward that left big toe. I'm so excited to move to a town that absolutely nothing goes on there. Sounds like peace to me. But I will miss my beach. And then slowly come up. Of course, the beach is a drive away, but you know, and I'm so used to 2 blocks away. And lower down. All right, now I'm going to put the blocks in the center, and we're going to bring the feet up there, both. We're going to plant our flex, pointing down, hands behind you, point the toes, puff up the chest, careful carpal tunnel. Want the straight wrist, not wrist extension, and here we go. Matsyasana, which is fish pose. Pointing down, lifting the heart, lifting the chin and chest. And then inhale, head to neutral. Exhale, bend the knees. And I'm going to take a really big soupy grind. Now for the next one, I'm going to reverse direction. We're going to be doing the lateral flexion again, but this time we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to add blocks. One more round, and forward and up, toe, heel, exaggerate, exaggerate. Okay, so I'm going to take the blocks, line them up with the hip joint, that is sacrobullofemoral joint, aka which one? Coxal joint. Okay. And you want to make sure the block's not forward. That's not your hip joint. We're talking back here by the hip joint, okay? So hand to the block. Here it is, same concept, just taking it a little differently. Body experiences it differently. And stretching the intercostal muscles between the ribs as well. Excellent. Breathing accessory muscles. And inhale, turn the palm up to the ceiling, grab an imaginary hook. Exhale, push down into that left heel, reaching out. Inhale, hand to block, roll shoulder back. Remember your contraindications here, folks. Up and over, oh. Just feels fabulous. And inhale, palm up. Hope you don't mind that the video today was based on yoga. I just couldn't pick up a weight after everything I've been lifting. And shoulder roll. Okay, so now I'm going to sit back a bit on the chair, push down on the left, lift the right, and I'm going to put my foot onto the chair. Now maybe this is too much flexion for you, so you can hold your leg up. Now you can interlock the fingers. However, with those of you medicated or not for hypertension may have been told not to squeeze the fingers. You could also use your yoga strap if you have a hard time lifting, but I am going to put my foot on the bench, sitting tall, making sure this foot is flat and doing its job. Pull the belly button in, and from here, I want to come into what I call a high hamstring stretch. So I'm using my peace fingers, man. So it's the index and middle fingers wedged between the big and the second toe. You can use a strap around the ball of the foot. So inhale, pull in, exhale, take it out. So here's the hamstring. I'm bending my elbow. I'm not doing this at the shoulder. I'm utilizing that bicep, no leaning back. Now from here, I'm going to open out into hip abduction. So notice here with that right elbow, we want to bend and pull. Hold steady, sitting into both buttock cheeks. So you're in hip abduction, abduction to stretch the hip abductors. And then we're going to bring that leg center. Take the left hand to the outside of the arch of the foot. And we can bring the arm up, out, behind you. I'm going to hold on to the chair through the window. And now here it is. Hip, I come into abduction to get a stretch to the hip abductors, right? So to stretch a muscle, you do the opposite of its action. Sit into the right glute, because the right glute, my glute's going to want to pop up higher to cheat so that it doesn't get the proper stretch in those lateral rotators. Oh well, I can't let it get away with that. Belly button in, shoulders down. And inhale, head center. Exhale, take the leg in. Now I'm going to bend the knee toward the chest. And one more time, yogi toe lock. Let's see where we can go with this. So I'm gonna grab with both hands. Yeah, there we go. And pushing out. And then inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, gently lower. We take it to the other side, push down on the right. Up we go with the left. I've got the foot on the chair. Lots of compression at the knee. So if it's inappropriate for you, I wouldn't do it quite like this, right? You could even do it like with your hands supporting the back of the knee to protect the connective tissue at the knee. Here we go, peace man, right? Yogi toe lock. Inhale, exhale, take it up. Pulling from what muscle? Bicep, back. Yes, of course, from shoulder too, but you know, don't want that shoulder to hike up toward your ear. Okay, you can hold on to your chair. You can bring your arm out, then bend that left elbow. Push, pull. Push through the heel, pull with the strong arm. And breathe. And then inhale back to center. Here we go. Right hand outside of the arch. Exhale. Oh, wow, folks. This side is very tender, so I have to take it easy coming into it. But here we go. There it is. I'm sitting in the chair. I'm really using my left hand to help me with leverage to keep the spine up and to help me twist as I come into that hip abduction to stretch the hip abductors. Ooh. I'm like laughing at myself here. And then inhale, head center. Exhale, let's bring the foot back to the chair, and then maybe with both hands, inhale, exhale. But both biceps have to work here. Sit tall, think you're lifting your chest to your thigh. And then inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, set the foot down. I'm going to face you here for the seated cat-cow again. Just another nice way to release that back, spine extension, spine flexion. It's your job, folks, to remember the contraindications and the modifications I suggest. And again. And then sitting up tall, hold a moment. I feel like I want a little bit more here, so I'm going to go into that big Sufi grind. Just listen to the body. Sometimes it's just going to tell you what it needs next. And that's where yoga is really spectacular. Gives you permission to follow that instinct. To really listen to yourself. One more. And forward and up. Toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Turning to the side. I want to open up that chest again. Stretch it all out. Notice how you just want to breathe deeper when you're in a chest stretch. One more. And release. Let's take a couple of shoulder rolls. So that's what we've got for you this evening here. Yes, I am filming at nighttime at Boomer and Beyond Wellness. And folks, if you find value in the content, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. And I'm looking to get to 320 subscribers, so I would really appreciate that. Also hit the notification bell to be reminded when I'm posting some new content. And also, if you wouldn't mind a kind comment, even feel free to share, particularly share with people who might be with a chronic issue and are very scared to move and work out. And just invite them to preview. That's all. Just watch it. Don't even do it. And give them an opportunity. If you are interested in working with me privately as a senior fitness consultant, I do 60-minute personal training sessions. I also do, as part of my Have It Your Way workout series, 10-minute sessions, one person, one exercise. It's a deep dive into just one exercise. and I do the work virtually, remotely, of course. On site, I am a licensed massage therapist and now in the Fort Lauderdale area for deep tissue, Swedish massage, but I also specialize in geriatric massage, and I also do palliative care. And also, I forgot to mention virtual hatha, but yet also opposite end of the spectrum of this work, prenatal yoga. So until next time, folks, you know that I'm really into a whole food, plant exclusive lifestyle. I'm just going to suggest you eat your greens, eat your beans, drink your water, and please be well. Thanks so much for your support.